Charles Manson, the American sect leader and mass murderer who died in prison at the age of 83, stoked his followers to the most horrible murders. The Manson family was convicted for at least 9 of them. But where are the members of the sect now? Are they still walking amongst us, or do they reside in prison? Charles Tex Watson. Watson described himself as a right hand of Manson, and on the 9th of August 1969, he was in charge of the most notorious murder of the Manson family. Together with 3 female followers, he went to the villa of director Roman Polanski and the heavily pregnant actress Sharon Tate in Beverly Hills. Here, they slaughtered Tate and 4 guests in a beastly manner. He was also there when the gang murdered Leno and Rosemary Labianca the next night in their LA home. Watson, now 71, received the death penalty, but when it was abolished in 1972, his sentence was converted to life imprisonment. He is still in prison near Sacramento, and his requests for parole are systematically rejected. He wrote a book in which he told how the charismatic Manson offered his followers utopia and convinced them to carry out his destructive worldview. He apologized for the murders and converted to Christianity. In 1981, he even became a preacher. He also obtained his degree behind bars. Susan Atkins. Atkins was one of the women who attended the murder of Sharon Tate. She tasted the blood of the actress and wrote the word pig on the wall. She confessed that she had stabbed Tate while she was begging for her life and that of her unborn son. She also claimed that she was acting on Manson's orders and that she was under the influence of LSD. Her death penalty was also converted into life imprisonment. She asked to be released early when brain cancer was diagnosed, but this request was refused. She died in her cell in 2009 at the age of 61. When she was living with the sect, she also got a child from Manson. Zezatfrek. Nothing is known about him and where he now resides. Patricia Krenwinkel. Krenwinkel was a 19-year-old secretary when she met Manson, then 33, for the first time at a party. 3 days later, she left behind everything to follow him because she thought something was blooming between them. But as soon as she joined the sect, Manson began to mistreat her and lend her out to other men, she said last year. She was mostly under the influence of drugs when in the sect. She was present at the murder in Sharon Tate's house and chased Abigail Folger through the house before she repeatedly stabbed her. A day later, she also helped with the murder of the Labiancas. Manson and Watson told her to do something witch-like, and she stabbed Leno Labianca in the stomach with a fork. She would then write with his blood on the walls. She received the death penalty, which was converted into life, and requested parole 13 times, but this was in vain. Linda Kasabian. Kasabian drove the getaway car when Manson's followers went out to murder. She said she was completely in shock when she saw what was happening and would run away from the sect 2 days after the killings. Before that, she had thwarted a murder of a Lebanese actor she knew by knocking on the wrong door. She was a crown witness in the murder trial Tate Labianca and received immunity. She now lives somewhere in New Hampshire. Steve Clem Grogan. Steve Grogan was often called Scramblehead by Manson because he was not very bright. Just like Van Houten, he only participated in the murder of the Labiancas, and he too received the death penalty. A judge converted this sentence into life because he was too stupid and too heavily under the influence of drugs to have orchestrated the slaughter. He was released in 1985. Leslie Van Houten. Van Houten was the youngest member of the sect and only 19 when she became involved in the murder of the Labiancas. She restrained Rosemary with a pillowcase over her head, while others stabbed her dozens of times. When Watson told her to do something, she took a butcher's knife and stabbed the woman in the stomach. Since she started her lifelong prison sentence more than 40 years ago, she has been a model prisoner. She has a master's degree in psychotherapy and now helps other prisoners. Last year, the Council for Early Release ruled that she could be released, but Governor Jerry Brown stopped it, because according to him, she was still an unreasonable danger to society. In September, she got the green light again from the council, and there is currently a 150-day period in which Brown can once again be heard. Bruce Davis. Davis is serving a life sentence for the murder of musician Gary Hinman and stuntman Donald Shorty Shea in 1969. He attacked the latter with a knife and held Hinman at gunpoint while Manson worked his face with a sword. "I wanted to be his favorite," he stated in 2014. He insisted for a long time he had only watched, but later acknowledged his responsibility. A special panel decided 5 times that he could be released because he is no longer considered to be a danger. Bruce Davis obtained a doctorate in the cell and converted to Christianity, but the decision for the release was blocked every time by the governor of California. Robert Bobby Beausoleil. Beausoleil received the death penalty for the murder of Gary Hinman, but this was also converted to life. His latest demand for early release dates from October last year. This was refused. He was a musician and actor when he joined the Manson family and was in prison at the time of the murders in the house of Sharon Tate and the Labiancas. In 1994, he was transferred to Oregon State Prison in Salem after being married in the cell with a woman from Oregon. He now has 4 children with her. Lynette Squeaky Fromme. Fromme was a child star from Venice Beach when she met Manson in 1967 at a party in Manhattan Beach. Krenwinkel was also present at this party. She did not participate in the killings, but she would attend the trial. In 1975, she was arrested by the Secret Service after she pointed a gun at President Gerald Ford. She was sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder. In the cell, she continued to correspond with Manson, and despite the fact that she would escape briefly, she was released early in 2009. She now lives in Marcy in the state of New York. Mary Brunner. Mary was one of the first members of the Manson family and gave Manson a son, Michael Valentine. She played no part in the killings, but was arrested in 1971 when she had robbed a gun shop as part of a plan to free Manson from the cell. She was injured and released early in 1977. It is unclear what she did next. So, this was a brief update on the members of the Manson family. If you have any information on Brunner, Kasabian or Manson's kids, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.